Oh.
Wow.
He did it. Trey had just achieved the world's first decahexatris, at least outside of the walls of the studio developing the game.
A decahexatris is achieved by clearing 16 or 17 lines in Tetris simultaneously. This achievement, however, would only begin to scratch the surface of what is possible to reach within the bounds of the game's rules. In this video, I'll be covering the largest line clear you can achieve during a normal game and showing you exactly how to do it. Tetris is a game about stacking blocks called tetraminos on top of each other to form complete horizontal lines. There are 7 types of tetraminos, each with their own unique names, but instead of using these names, well, for the purpose of this video, let's call them blue and orange L pieces, red and green S pieces, square piece, T piece, and line piece. Optimal strategies for playing Tetris involve tactics such as keeping one side empty and strategically holding a line piece until the left side reaches a sufficient height for executing a 4-line clear, also known as a Tetris. This is by far the easiest and most effective way to play Tetris, as it can allow for an easy back-to-back Tetris. Another strategy is leaving 2 tiles empty on one side for effective combos. You can even try leaving 3 tiles empty for more adaptability. A bit harder to pull off is leaving 4 tiles empty in the middle for the biggest combos. No matter the strategy you use, the highest line clear you can do at any one time is 4 lines, as the tallest tetramino is 4 tiles high. That is, until Tetris Effect introduced the zone feature. Performing line clears in Tetris Effect fills up the zone gauge, which can be seen in the bottom left corner. Activating the zone feature temporarily stops the incoming tetramino from falling any further. Any line clears performed during this time are moved to the bottom and stored until the zone gauge runs out. Utilizing the zone feature, line clears higher than 4 are possible. Even without planning ahead, it is not difficult to perform an 8 to 11 line clear called an octoris. With a little bit of quick thinking, a 12 to 15 line clear called dodecatris is no trouble at all. By planning ahead a little bit and using the strategies I mentioned, you can get a 16 to 17 line clear called the decahexatris rather reliably. Going past a decahexatris seems to be quite difficult, but still does not require any extremely specific setup. Just by using the normal line piece hold strategy, it's possible to reach an 18 to 19 line clear called a perfectris. Although, looking at what it takes to achieve a perfectris, one could think that there's simply no more space to keep putting the tetraminos. And in normal situations, you'd be right. This is because going beyond a perfectris would mean having the right setup beforehand. The Tetris grid, which is called a matrix, is exactly 10 tiles wide and exactly 20 tiles high. The area where the tetraminos appear is in the middle 4 tiles of the matrix. The game ends once there is no longer room for the next tetramino to appear. Normally, a tetramino requires to hold 3 or 4 tiles of space in the middle. However, there is a way for it to appear and only take up 2 tiles. By going into the settings and enabling initial rotation, you can hold down the rotation button and the tetramino will appear already rotated, only taking up 2 tiles of space horizontally. Utilizing this information, we can devise a strategy where we fill both the left and right of the matrix to the limit, and only then do we activate the zone feature and start stacking in the middle. The way this specific strategy works is every L piece and square piece is placed on one side and every S piece and T piece on the other side. The line piece can be placed on either side to fill any remaining space. Of course, there are exceptions when a piece won't go anywhere, where you have no choice but to improvise. Once the sides are built, you can activate the zone feature and try to build the middle without leaving any gaps. The zone gauge runs out pretty fast, but with some luck you'll be able to fill the entire matrix and achieve a complete clear of 20 lines called an Ultimatris. Now you might have noticed that the line pieces I placed on top here were partly outside of the matrix, yet the game didn't seem to care. That is because the only rules for not losing is that the next tetramino has to have space to appear and have at least part of it be inside the bounds of the matrix. This means that the game won't end until after we are unable to place any part of the tetramino inside the matrix, meaning it is possible to build past the limit. Getting an Ultimatris required us to build 2 pillars 20 tiles high. If we wish to surpass this, we need to build them even higher. Assuming that we have built 2 pillars on either side precisely 19 tiles tall, we can alternatively utilize either 2 L pieces and 1 square piece or 2 L pieces and 1 S piece illustrated here. This will form 2 pillars exactly 22 tiles high. The pillars don't have to be complete before you activate the zone, because they can be finished during it. An important thing to remember is that once the pillars are complete, you have to keep holding the rotation button down so that the tetraminos have room to spawn in. One problem with clearing the last 2 lines that are past the limit is that they cannot be cleared using a square block, because the tetramino would be placed completely outside the matrix. A T piece, S piece and an orange L piece will not work either. The only 2 tetraminos that would work at the end would be the blue L piece or a line piece. Getting unlucky with the piece sequence means you might end up with an incomplete 21 line clear called a Gerptris. And the final thing to keep in mind is that depending on which direction you rotate, the line piece can appear on either the left or right side of the middle. Rotating clockwise makes it appear on the right and counterclockwise on the left. Holding the wrong button down can lead to an unfortunate event demonstrated here. In short, we need to start by making 2 pillars on each side, 4 tiles wide and 19 tiles high. Fill the last 3 lines using either configuration illustrated here. Start holding the rotate button down and have the fortune of getting an L piece or line piece at the end. Do all of that in quick succession, and you'll achieve what is known as an Impossibilitris.